I keep hearing these, Smitty, you gotta go 5 wide receivers in the first 7 rounds, Smitty, in order to win your best ball draft or any draft period, Smitty. This nonsense, this hogwash, this slave to the data mentality, not on this channel, not on my watch. We aren't slaves to the past. There's a lot to take in with the best ball data. There's a lot to absorb and apply. And it's all accoutrements. It's all accessories to the process, but you do not become a slave to the data on my watch. We are a best player mentality, best player available mentality people. And we're going to continue to draft that way. And we're drafting tonight. As we draft, we discuss best player available. As we draft, we take phone calls. We don't just have a boring, mundane, just draft over and over on the board. We'll switch back and forth between topics, your phone calls, a whole bunch more as we draft. The drafting we're not a slave to the drafting either on this channel. We are a topic generated show. Even when we draft, the fantasy football show begins right now.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
You're watching a graveyard stream.
You're watching a graveyard stream. And I want everyone here to know, if you're new, if you're not new, if you haven't been here for a while, if you're here every night, I'll still remind you. This is not a channel that's going to just draft, okay? That stuff's boring. You ask me, I look at some of this sometimes. I gander around, or I'm on YouTube and I get suggestions. All these boring, do it over and over and over shows. We are not that channel. We will draft at midnights, but that is on the side of what the show's point will be, the topic at hand. In this case, it's best player available. The phone calls will be had, and we will draft alongside of it. But I refuse to be this sort of just absolutely just go, stamp it out. Another show, stamp it out. Another show, stamp it out. Not on my watch. And the slave to the data mentality, not on my watch either. We are a best player available community. Plain and simple. Super chat from Justin coming in, and he says, it's great to see you feeling better, Smitty. I don't know that I'm feeling better, but I appreciate the kind words. We got a job to do, okay? We all have a job to do. I'm here to do mine. I've been doing it since I caught the pandemic, so I appreciate that I look like I'm feeling better, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Let's get into a draft here. Open up your Underdog app, and if you don't have the Underdog app, well, I have a little link for you, and you can participate by clicking that little bad boy right there. So smash that button right there. Appreciate you, Justin, for dropping the super chat. Hit that link. That link is going to take you to Underdog, the app. You'll download it. They'll give you a special pick. If you use my link, they'll give you a 50% match on your first deposit. If you use my link, the minimum's only $10. So if you do 10, they'll give you 5. We're going to go into a Eliminator Marathon. Let's go into... Damn, this is tough. Weekly winners is so fun. I love weekly winners. Double dribble, puck, no. The pup cup. What is that? What is that? It's it's not football. Okay. Best Ball Mania. $25 Best Ball Mania draft. On the count of 5, you're going to hit that green button, okay? So pull it up, have the green button visible. 4, 3, 2, 1. Smash the green button. I'm going to wait about 5 to 6, 7 seconds because of the YouTube delay. This is a Best Ball Mania. Someone like John is going to complain because he doesn't get in. But the usual suspects will get in, and John, it's okay. John hates this. This is like parking for John. You know when you try and find a parking spot at your favorite restaurant, and it's like there's never parking. There's 7 spots remaining in this, 5 spots remaining. There's no way you should be missing this draft. John is that guy that can't stand to park. He's like, oh my God, I gotta find a spot. I gotta do it. I don't think I can do it. We're gonna attack best player available. Grant Collins, appreciate you, pal. Been a few years since I've been here. Why would you leave, Grant? Grant, let me do this for you. It's for your own good, okay? Grant says, Smitty, how have you been? I'm been great, and I appreciate you being here. Smitty, it's been a few years since I've been here. Well, first of all, this is how I feel about that.
Wrong. Muy mal.
So, glad you're back, but that is on you. That is, I don't know where you've been. I don't know what made you think it was smart or wise to venture off. I imagine you don't have a lot of H-hand shares because you decided not to grace this show with your presence. But that's okay. We still appreciate you. You are who you are. You are who you are, Grant Collins. All right. Your boys got the 9 spot in this best ball mania. Superfish in the 1, Ray G in the 2, Josh in the 3, Rock out in the 4, Overcoached in the 5. I don't know if that's one of ours. Calvin's in the 7, Shubes is in the 8, Chase is in the 10, Troy is in the 11. Man, we got this whole thing full of our people. Do me a favor, guys. Try not to overreach in this draft. Just try. Just do your absolute best to allow the draft to fall to you. That is the whole point of this show. We're here to discuss best player available. In fact, let me get this screen here and copy it. Okay, hold on. Let me copy this screen right here. And let me paste it here so that we can constantly come back and forth between these two. Why is it not copying? Hold on. Let me see if I can grab it one more time. We're going to be referencing this best player available. Okay, I think this is it. Hold on. Let me see if I can paste it over here. Come on. There we go. All right. I'm going to do this so I can keep tabs on it while we're talking, because there's no way I'm sitting on that screen the whole show. I vow to you, I'm not doing that. This is not that channel. We're not doing this mundane over and over and over again. Drafting, that's all we do. We're not doing that here. This is going to be an additive to the content. This is going to add to the topic at hand, and this topic at hand is best player available. This topic at hand is why people shouldn't be reaching, why you should be taking what the draft gives you, why you should... and reaching isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're doing it properly. Jahmyr Gibbs here. I want Jahmyr Gibbs here pretty badly. I'm gonna go AJ Brown. That was tough. That was tough because I wanted to take Gibby there, but that's okay. We're gonna go wide receiver shopping at this pick. We're gonna take what the draft gives us. Plus, we've done a show on this week where AJ Brown's deserving of that pick. AJ Brown's deserving of the 7, the 8, the 9, of course, in 10 and 11 and 12. But this is a guy that is ultra efficient, and you need a wide receiver, and you didn't get one of the big dogs. This is the man you call. Okay? He's the guy that can get you, I believe this year, 12, 13, 14 touchdowns in this new offense that's a Kellen Moore system. 95% has changed. Jalen Hurts is throwing the damn ball all over the field, and the Eagles are going to tear it up in 2024.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Almost on the clock here. Jahmyr Gibbs went at 10. Puka went at 11. Garrett Wilson at 12. The 13th pick on the turn was Harrison JT. And here we are, staring Mr. Drake London in the face, potentially. Maybe not. Nico Collins, wow. Do I go wide receiver here? Or do I grab one of the RBs? Let's try it. Let's try it.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
On a stream where We're promoting best player available, young men and women. We're not out here to have an agenda. And this running back in best ball. That's right. Running back. If you're new to my channel, listen to me. Bring it in close. I go running back all the time. You got a problem with that, you might not want to watch. If you are used to the absolute same old wide receiver, you got to take wide receiver every time. This is proof that your boy will do what's needed. Your boy will do what's required. Your boy will do what's necessary and what is handed to him. And I'm okay with this move. You know, I wanted to go like A-Chan. He went here because no one's going to listen to me. You guys are going to reach like monsters in here. Guys, take the draft as it comes. Try and draft a different team for once. Imagine people are coming in here and they're trying to check this draft out for the first time. Okay, this channel, and they see this wild reach fest going on. Okay, let's show people we're better than that. Try and use the ADP to your advantage and try not to indulge in the reach-a-thon. Okay, let's move this down slightly. So just to repeat for anybody, especially if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, number 1, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 7, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, A.J. Brown to me at the 9 spot, Jahmyr Gibbs at 10, Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. at 12 and 13. Second pick in the second round is Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins, Drake London goes number 16 to me in the second round, pairing my A.J. Brown with Drake London. Devon Achane, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley have been paired together at that 8 and 7 pick. So after my London, it went Achane, Barkley, Chris Olave, Waddle, Debo, Ayuk, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry. Okay, nice. Ray G's gotten a nice little squad here. I like it. Justin Rush dropping a $5 hauler. Justin, appreciate you. Let's swing back over to the big screen here and have a fantasy football conversation, not just stare at a draft board over and over. I don't do that. Not anymore. I don't do that. I vowed tonight to stop being like anybody else that just comes in here and does this stupid repetitiveness. I'm not doing it. You're the GOAT, Smitty. We all appreciate you. Thank you, Navage. Appreciate you. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to mix things in. But we have a purpose here tonight. The purpose is to just discuss best player available. So we'll be having that discussion. Phone lines will be open in a second. The numbers say that most of the time players go around their ADPs. I reach sometimes. The numbers say most people go around their ADPs. Justin, that's why it's the ADPs, the average draft position. What are we talking about? The numbers say that most of the time players go around their ADPs. I've never heard that in my life. This is the first time I've ever heard. Justin, you crack me up, bro. Well, that's why that would be the average draft position. All right, hold on. We're gonna roll with Jalen Hurts here and stack that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. And I also don't force stacks. I just don't do it. I don't care about that. I care about it. It's an additive. It's something you try and account for. But these people that also tell you you don't stack and you're gonna lose. You draft a naked Joe Burrow, you can't win. You draft Jamar Chase without Joe Burrow, you can't win. You can't. You gotta be crazy. I love it. I love that people think like that. I love that people, not only do people think like that, they constantly think like that. They constantly. Badge, where you been, bro? Veda hasn't been here in a while. Veda, I missed you in Vegas, pal. We were there waiting for you, and you never came. You never came. But you came last time, so hats off to you. Appreciate you. Wide receiver, and a stack. Who is this man? Yeah. It's the definition of best player available. Now, what does best player available mean? Doesn't mean you draft off the ADP rank. Let me just select the highest ranked player on the ADP board. That's not best player available. That's drafting like a Bob. That's drafting like a robot. No. What does best player available mean? It means you take the player that gives you the most bang for your buck. Every single time you're on the clock, every single time you reset your thinking, you say to yourself, who gives me the best value on the board right here, right now? Between two players right now, it's got to be McBride and it's got to be Etienne who's sitting here, or Isaiah Pacheco. I think right here in the fourth round, I'm starting to gravitate back toward fourth round Isaiah Pacheco. I think he easily has top 6 to 10 running back appeal. There is some concern, and I've voiced this before on previous live streams, that Isaiah Pacheco isn't the safest running back, just because of the mere fact that the Chiefs never, in recent memory, do what they did at the end of the year with the running back position in the beginning of the year of the next calendar year. However, this does feel like the year that it's going to happen. It does feel like the year they have committed to him. But, it's also one of those things that's so early for Pacheco. It's not. He's the second ranked running back available. While who said that? Who said that? Who said this? Kenobi says that's so early for Pacheco. He's sitting there as ADP. As Justin already lined up for you and mapped out, players tend to go sometimes around where their ADPs are. And Pacheco's the second ranked running back at that point, bro. That ain't early at all. But the thing about Pacheco is he's going to get fed. He's guaranteed probably 10 plus touchdowns. This is the kind of team that in my opinion, can win Best Ball Mania when you start out with an amazing RB that's kind of packaged into a late value. I did not like when Pacheco was going in the third round because of the risk of the Chiefs doing the unknown each year at the running back position, but it does feel like the year he's going to be totally worth a fourth rounder. He was a moon man extraordinaire. No one was higher on Pacheco. Look at me. Again, bring it in. There was nobody higher on Pacheco than me last year. No. I'm here to set the record straight. No channel was pumping him up like we were. He was a moon man extraordinaire. Okay? And maybe he should be back on the moon man again because now he's in the fourth round. I'll admit, I didn't love when he climbed into round 3 briefly during the earlier part of the offseason. But now he's a good value. I don't mind this at all. I think this is a fantastic place for him to be selected. You just got to grab him at the right spot. Your fourth drafted player is fine. That package is in any sort of risk at all. A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Drake London, Isaiah Pacheco, doing it live. I love what we're doing here.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Almost on the clock here. I've been out of the loop. No clue Pacheco was going in the fourth round. Wild. He is, bro. He is. You don't worry about it. You let me handle this one, okay, Kenobi? You just sit back and try and absorb what you're seeing. I don't know that I want to go RB here. Don't know that I want to go wide receiver here. Okay, I'm going to time out here. I'm going to cue somebody just to make sure we got it under control. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go on my cue. I'm going to time out on Kyle Pitts. Very balanced squad. I could have went RB. I could have went wide receiver there. I didn't want to force anything. Feel pretty good about that. Very good start so far. Stroud just went. That's a good pick there. I don't know what I'm going to do with this next spot. I'm very tempted to grab a certain little somebody, but I just don't want to reach too high on some of these guys. Joe Mixon just went. I'm heavy Falcon and I'm heavy Philly. It's a really good squad right here that I'm building here. A.J. Brown, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Isaiah Pacheco, Kyle Pitts. That's one of the most balanced teams you could find.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
It's what we're calling balanced. BPA, baby. Smitty's proving BPA's the unexpected. Because, good God, this is slightly different than normal. BPAs always should guide you. Always should guide you. This next pick is going to be quite interesting. I like the Stroud, Nico, Diggs team with the Gibbs and Laporta. It's a pretty nice risk stack you got there. Like like you're going heavy with the wide receivers there, but I like it. Don't love the Godwin pick necessarily. This is what separates the boys from the men here. That's the sound of me on my horse. Let's go ahead and do it. It's got its risks, but you know what? My running back stable is going to. I'm taking Alvin Kamara. I've got Pacheco. I've got Kamara. I'm going a little bit high risk, high reward with the RB stable, but I'm completely fine with that. I feel like it's a very solid risk to take given the security behind every other pick that I have. And while Alvin Kamara's got some risk at 29, he's easily cuffable in most situations. This is pretty damn good. I like it. Let's go. That's a good squad. Let's look at these squads. The 12 pick: Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., DJ Moore, Michael Pittman Jr., James Cook, Kenneth Walker. I'm going to tell you, what's your name? Scrod or Screwed at the 12. You might have screwed yourself because I don't know that you needed to go 4 wide. I think 4 wide is what you've been brainwashed to do, and you didn't need to do it with DJ Moore and Michael Pittman Jr. Your running backs are good, but I don't know that this is going to beat any of these other monster teams in here. But that's too much, you know. Lay off on the wide receiver sauce, bro, and I don't know. Indulge in a running back, a quarterback, or a wide receiver or a running back, a quarterback, or a tight end once in a while. Troy from the 11 spot: Puka, JT, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. I really like that team. That's good. Chase from that 10. We got Puka, JT, Kelce, or I'm sorry, the 10 is Gibbs, Collins, Diggs, Laporta, Stroud. I don't love the Godwin pick, but I like that team. I don't know what's the fascination with Godwin right now. Oh, he's going to be playing in the slot more? They might, I don't know. Is it because Tyreek Hill listed his top 5 quarterbacks? Did you hear that? These players do not know anything outside of their own world. I had rehab on my knee when I tore my ACL. When I tore my knee the first time, I had surgery next to a defensive back. I don't want to say his name because I don't do that. But I had physical therapy next to him every day. He was an NFL cornerback. I was a sports medicine place that I would go to because I was very into sports back then in college. And I sat next to this defensive back, and I'd pick his brain. You know, I was dabbling in fantasy football then, obviously, in terms of writing and professional stuff. And this guy had no clue who the best players were. I'd even ask him, who's the toughest wide receiver you've ever had to guard? And he was a big-name quarterback. And he literally had no clue who was good. He just didn't. And Tyreek Hill was asked the other day, I think it was yesterday, who are the top 5 quarterbacks? He said Mahomes, Tua, hold on a second. I got to make a draft selection here. We're going to roll with the... Jeez. This is a tough one. I'm going to take JSN right here. He said, Tyreek Hill said his top quarterback was Mahomes, Tua, Dak, Baker Mayfield. Baker was number 5. Who was his number 4? It's insane. It's insane. The fact that Tyreek Hill thinks Baker Mayfield is in the top 5 quarterbacks, it tells you all you need to know about players' awareness. Like does Adams think he's in a good spot when he goes to the Raiders, right? Why does Adams think that leaving Aaron Rodgers is a good idea? Why does Antonio Brown think leaving Big Ben was a good idea? Why does Diggs think leaving the man that helped create him is a good idea? Because these wide receivers have no clue, zero clue. They don't see outside of their world and perspective. They just don't. It's just wild. Baker Mayfield. Lamar was the other one. So Lamar, Mahomes, okay, those are understandable. Dak, it's understandable. That someone might think that. And look, Dak going to a different situation, maybe we change our tune about that, but he's not my top 5. No way. But I like Dak. He's my top 10, sure. But wow, what a wild statement. Baker Mayfield inside your top 10. Tua inside your top 5. Tua in your top 5. Baker in your top 5. You obviously don't get out much, do you, Tyreek? Unbelievable. All right, your boy is almost on the clock here. James Conner. Okay, I think I'm going to roll with this is bold, I know. I'm going to do it, though, because he's not going to make it back to me. And I just want to make sure I have the running back that I believe will be a top 10 running back down the stretch. And Isaiah Pacheco and Kamara, something could happen to Kamara mid-season. I think Benson will be we'll call it top 10 to 12 running back by the time midseason is here. By the time midseason's here, he will be a top 10 to 12 running back pretty easily. So I got my running back stable together. Drake London is my second pick. So AJ Brown, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Isaiah Pacheco, Kyle Pitts, Alvin Kamara, JSN, Trey Benson, doing it live. Probably my only reach. Yeah, buddies. They all got paid, Smitty says. Get Shreked. I don't know what that means. They all got paid what? Who all got paid, bro? What are you talking about? Spell it out. Spell it out, bro. We don't know what you're saying. Okay, on the topic of best player available, I don't want to hear anybody tell me that going quarterback early is a bad mistake. Because guess what best player available tells you? That you can go quarterback early.
You've just been...
I don't want to hear somebody say going RB is a mistake when best player available could hand you a Gibbs and potentially a Barkley or a Gibbs and a Breece Hall at a 12 and 13. We've seen that happen before. It happens in best ball. Different tournaments are different. Different contests allow for different falls and ADP. But we've seen that. Gibbs is going at that 11, 12, 13 territory all the time. All it takes is one player to fall. If we look at the board right here and we say what running back could have fallen in this particular draft, let's go back up to the top. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't fall, could have fallen. JT and Gibbs, you can take that at 12 and 13, and I'm fine with that. You take Kyren Williams and Breece Hall, let's say, or in this case, Breece Hall and Achane. Love that. Kyren, you want to get as late as you possibly can, like Ray G did. What's Ray G's team look like? Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Kyren Williams, Trey McBride, Anthony Richardson, Brian Thomas Jr., Zamir White. It's a fantastic squad, Ray G. You're crushing it. Superfish from the 1 has Christian McCaffrey. Let me scroll down this so I don't miss my pick. Christian McCaffrey, DK, Cooper Kupp, Dalton Kincaid, Jaden Reed, Kyler, Monty. I like it. It's good. It's good. Ray G Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Kyron Williams, Trey McBride. I like it. The third spot is CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Lamar. Look, you reached on Ayuk, but you recovered very well with Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Lamar. Like, that's a great job from the 3 spot. Rock out, Jamar Chase, Debo, Mike Evans. I like that. ETN's a fantastic running back, rock out, to get at that stage. So is Ramondre and Rashad White. I like your team a lot. Joe Burrow's just fine. Very, very good teams. Very good teams. I'm on the clock here. I haven't queued anybody, so shoot. Hold on. I'm going to get in trouble here in timeout if I'm not careful. 80 Mitchell. I was going to time out, so I probably did time out on that actually on my queue. But that's all right. I had him in there for a reason. God, it got really thin pretty quick. What's my team look like here? I've got Hurts, I've got Pacheco, Kamara, Benson. I got AJ Brown, London, JSN, 80 Mitchell. I got Kyle Pitts. What RB do I want here? What wide receiver do I want here? Man, I don't know. I don't know if there's the values. Like, this is crazy value here at this point. I'm on the clock here. I hate to do this to you, pal, but I need some upside. I sniped whoever has Kyron. I don't even remember who has Kyron. That might be Ray G. Sorry, Ray G. He wouldn't have made it back. He was really high ranked at that stage anyway. Poor Ray G. Your team's fine. You snipe me all day long anyway. You take every single player I like, Ray G. I'm sorry. Okay. I almost thought about Goddard. I kind of wanted to grab Goddard. Rain says, Smitty, thanks for your advice earlier today. Traded Tank Dell and a 26 first for Jaden Daniels in my Dynasty Superflex, pairing him up with Stroud. It's a great move. I mean, I love Tank Dell, bro. I love Tank Dell. And assuming that isn't the 1 overall pick or, top 3 pick or whatever, look, Jaden Daniels I'm picking in the top 12 in a Dynasty Startup Superflex. So I love the pick. Rob, you are live. What is up? Oh, no, this is John. John, what's up, John? Two people calling at the same time. What's up?
Where do you think Adonai Mitchell ends up on the depth charts for Indy? Is he the 1? Is he the 2? Is he the 3?
I'm hoping he becomes the 1, but he's initially going to easily be the 2 or 3. He's not going to be the 1. But I'm not a big Pittman guy in terms of like Pittman being as good as everyone thinks he's going to be. He's a fantasy football wide receiver too. He just is. I know everyone wants him to be a 1. He's not a 1. 80 Mitchell at least has a shot of being like a top 20 wide receiver someday. And do I think he plays like that as a rookie? No, but at some point he could. He could be that good for like the final 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks and kind of dance in and out of there. But 80 Mitchell's a guy I really like drafting right now. I think he's a fantastic 10, 11, 12 round player. It just depends on the board and how guys are falling. Golf, I'll see you later, bro. Golf to the moon. What do you think of this?
Do you think it takes him a little while to surpass Josh Downs?
Not really. I mean, the thing you got to keep in mind, too, is that there's no real rapport. I mean, there's some rapport there with Josh Downs for sure, but, I mean, the guy played 3 full games. That's not a knock on him. I'm just saying, like, it's not like he's got, like, tons of game experience with Josh Downs that A.D. Mitchell can't slip in there and take. You know, A.D. Mitchell's a talent. They took him for a reason. He's got the upside to be a number 1 for the team. I really like him. Have I done in the NHL? No, bro. I'm not a big NHL guy. I don't hate the NHL, but I just don't have time for it. Okay, let me make a pick here, bro. Let's go. Let's go a little Kirk Cousins action here. I've got London. I've got Kyle Pitts. This makes a lot of sense for me. This is what I always like to say is like the creative, nobody sees it coming type of stack, where you essentially like look at this. Let me map it out because you guys might grasp it better because it's hard to see who I have. But let's say you go with let's just use what I have. I have Jalen Hurts as my QB. I have Cousins as my second quarterback, and this is 1 QB. I've got London, and I have Kyle Pitts as my tight end. So I didn't stack. I've got A.J. Brown, though. So AJB stacked with Hurts, and then I've got Cousins stacked with Kyle Pitts, and it's just a really nice, like, secondary stack that takes care of you the weeks that Hurts isn't doing great, or even if Hurts has a good game but AJ Brown balls out, I might be using Cousins, AJB, London, and Pitts, and AJB might have a monster game. I love doing this like secondary stack. It's like you're stacking both your quarterbacks are stacked to a wide receiver, and in this case, my second QB stacked to a tight end as well. But I love it. It's a nice little maneuver. I've got something else up my sleeve here. Hold on a second, John. Let me just make sure I don't time out here. Okay, Leggett, that's a nice pick. Well, maybe I won't do this. This is tough. This is a tough spot to be in. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Tua. So I have 3 really good quarterbacks. This is kind of like a poor man's version, a late version of bully QB. But I have Hurts, I got Cousins, I got Tua. I'm going to dominate QB scoring. I'm going to flat out dominate everybody in QB scoring. I also don't know if Cousins, this is a tough move to make. Like if I don't commit to Cousins and Penix Jr., then it's tough to leave Cousins as my only second good quarterback because what if he gets hurt and gets replaced? So it's kind of a tough spot to be in. But I really like the way that my quarterback room feels. I'm a big proponent of huge quarterback play. AJ Brown, Drake London, Jalen Hurts, Isaiah Pacheco, Kyle Pitts, Alvin Kamara, JSN, Trey Benson, A.D. Mitchell, Blake Corum, Cousins, and Tua. Woo! I love it. All right, dial in, guys.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Smitty, I like your team. I think you could have got Hurts in the 4th.
You think I could have what?
You could have got Hurts in the 4th.
Nah,
Maybe
not in this draft. No, I would have waited probably. But then again, it didn't matter. I love Pacheco. What running back? I was going running back most likely. What running back was taken between that pick and this pick? No one. I would have taken the same result. I wouldn't have taken Pacheco that early, but I mean, who would you have taken? Laporta maybe. So Laporta and then got Hurts, but I like Pacheco and Hurts. I think what I would have been left at running back would have hurt me. I like the balance. I like best player available. I love the balance of this team. I'd maybe get away with Hurts in the 4th round, maybe in a draft outside of this, but he was the top quarterback sitting there, and none of those guys had QBs yet. So I don't know, bro. I think I maybe would have got Mahomes though if this wasn't in this crew. So I would have been fine, but I wanted to stack AJ Brown and Hurts. It wasn't worth letting him fall. But you're right. I mean, it could have potentially dropped in another draft. Not in this draft. Not with these guys, bro. I talk up early QB too much. Way too much. So Ray G took my Kendre Miller because I took his quorum. That's fine. That'd be awful if we would have got first and second had we just taken our backups. but I guess maybe they're both going off. Maybe they're both going off. Dial in, guys. Phone lines are open. Okay, here we go. On the clock. Wide receivers. I'm not loving some of these options. I'm going to go Luke Musgrave and sure up my backup tight end position with a guy I think could be a top 6 tight end this year. I love Luke Musgrave. I think he's one of the best picks in the 13-14 territory for a tight end. Smash, smash, smash. What else you got, John?
Isn't one of their tight ends injured? Like a head injury, shoulder injury?
Kraft
Green
is
Bay?
currently banged up right now, the other tight end. So Luke Musgrave was injured last year, so now it's Kraft's turn. I like them both. Kraft's a good player, but you know, Luke Musgrave is the specimen. He's the guy that was literally on paper from like a metric perspective better than Laporta, like in terms of size and physicality, and this guy's a monster. Ziggy, how tall is Luke Musgrave? I think he's like 6'6".
Luke Musgrave weighs 253 pounds and is 6 feet 6 inches tall.
Ziggy off. 253, 6'6". An absolute
I don't know
unit.
that one.
Ziggy off. He's an absolute unit. Just a unit. 6'6", 253. That is a big boy. That is a big freaking boy. All right, let's go. Let's go running back shopping real quickly. I don't know. I could definitely use a wide receiver here, but I'm not forcing it. I'm not feeling it. Let me go over to the RB position. This is not a good look here. I'm going to reach a little bit just to get a player that I feel is definitely going to be my final running back piece. So I have 5 RBs. I think he's a touchdown threat every time he's on the field. Mr. Braylon Allen. Love it as my running back 5. Blake Corum is no guarantee. So, you know, I don't love him as my 4 unless I've got another player I really like Braylon Allen. So that's good. Trey Benson's also not secure, you know, anything. So Kamara, Pacheco, I love. I have a little bit of a risky running back stable in terms of guaranteed touches with the bottom 3 guys, but I think Benson steps up big time when I need it, but we'll see. Harvest, what's up?
What's up?
What's going on?
Hello? Oh, not much. Man, I was talking to Sick Nasty in the chat, and I was asking him, like, you know, what's the earliest you would take MHJ?
The earliest would be like 11, 10.
See, because, you know, you talk about reaching, and, like, I don't know, like, you know, the more and more I think about it, I'm like, I mean, he could be, it just makes too much sense he would be a top 5 wide receiver. So, you know, I think about it, it's like, okay, could I take him before A.J. Brown or Jahmyr Gibbs, and then on the turn get Kyron, and then maybe 3rd round grab Josh Allen? I don't know. It's like, is it reaching if you just want if he's gonna go 1st round? Like,
Don't take him.
Really
Don't take him higher than you have to take him, bro. You gotta look. What wide receiver? Let's just take a look at it. I don't even want to condone. I shouldn't have even said that because I feel like that's going to drive you into now reaching higher. Look at where he's going, bro. How many wide receivers are off the board right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He was wide receiver 9. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It just so happens on Underdog, wide receiver 9 with 4 running backs. Usually it goes higher because wide receiver 9 means he's going to go 12 or 13. But we're a little bit more of a running back heavy crew here. So we definitely pushed Marvin Harrison down to 13, or sometimes we would 14. Wide receiver 9 packages in all the risk. That's his floor. But you start taking him at A.J. Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown level, he has to deliver for you to get your money back. Like, don't even think about it. He's already going what people would say is too high at wide receiver 9, merely because the wide receivers are getting consumed so early and he's going 12 and 13. But objectively, wide receiver 9 is a cakewalk for him. Don't ruin it by taking him at 6 overall or 5 overall. You're absolutely destroying all your upside.
In what way if you're not going to get him anyway, though?
You can't think like that, bro. You can't just take a guy because you're afraid you're gonna not get him. You got to use the values to your advantage. You got to look at this and say, how many are you doing? One league, Harvest? Are you doing one league?
No.
Okay, so why are you gonna force it? And then the next league you get the 10 pick or the 12 pick, and you can take them naturally there. And now you've got them on 7 straight teams. Like, take what the draft gives you. Take Jahmyr Gibbs, take Bijan Robinson, take, I don't necessarily mind if you are sitting there at 11 and A.J. Brown fell and Marvin Harrison's there and you're taking him, but you start taking him at 5 and 6, bro, you're a Bob. You're a Bob, and we're sending on a lap. That's not where you take him. Doesn't matter if he's that good. We're predicting him to be that good, but you gotta assess it and take the value where it is. So in case things don't work out, he's a slow start. Rookies can get banged up. They hit rookie walls. You're allowing yourself no ability to navigate. But I can hear in your voice you're not going to listen to me. I can hear it in your voice.
No.
You're not. Nope.
No. I would never take MHJ if it doesn't make sense. No, what you say, like you said, let the players fall to you where they're supposed to fall. So I mean, I get it. It makes sense.
Just you can't. You gotta take advantage of what's in front of you. Otherwise, you're gonna be left. People that reach like you're describing, they look like their team got kicked in the nutsack at the end of it all. They look like somebody took away their 3rd round pick, and it's like, bro, where's your 3rd round pick? It's like it's almost like someone ripped the player from your team. You can't do that. You gotta be smart with your squad.
No, I get it.
Hold on a second. I gotta make a selection here. Hold on. Let's see. Jeez, this is tough sledding here. There's nobody left. You guys are absolute reachers, man. Javon Baker, I don't even, I love him, but I don't even know if the team understands how good he is. So that could be a mistake. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Anything else, Harvest? Just take him smartly, bro. Take him smartly, though. Wide receiver 9's a gift. Let people make fun of wide receiver 9, bro. I'd venture to say you take Marvin Harrison Jr. at 12. 1 or 2 people in your draft are gonna go a rookie. That's a little high, and you're gonna be damn, thank God I didn't take him at 6. And not to mention, can't you trade, bro? Can't you trade down? Like, where's your draft pick? Where's your draft pick?
Oh, I don't have one right now. I was just asking for future 10.
If you get the 5 or 6, trade down. Don't start saying, well, what if someone else takes him? Or just allow that to happen. If someone takes Marvin Harrison Jr. at 5 or 6 and beats you to it, guess who's falling that shouldn't fall? Bijan or Gibbs or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Or just trade your second. Like, let's say you get an early 1st round pick, like 4 or 5. Take Bijan, take Gibbs, take whoever. Take Jamar Chase, whatever. Move your second rounder up and take Marvin Harrison Jr. Or trade your third and fifth rounder for the 12 overall. You know, do something crazy like draft pick trading. I love. I surrender a fifth rounder for that type of move. Let's take a look at the fifth rounder. So you're looking at like a Hollywood, a T. Higgins, a Joe Mixon, a James Cook, Terry McLaurin, a Jaden Reed, a Keenan Allen, those fifth rounders. I'd surrender one of those players to move my third rounder into Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe, potentially, maybe not. Depends. If it's Hurts or Allen, I'm fine with that. If we're talking about moving a Devontae Adams or a DJ Moore up into Marvin Harrison Jr., smash. Take my fifth rounder, please. All right, Harvest, I'll see you later. John, you got anything else? I'm going to clear the phone line out, cycle in some new people.
Yeah, I'm hoping Luke Musgrave can put up McBride numbers this year. Hopefully, Kraft stays off the field and they get to see how good he is. If not, nice. I'm a little worried about him. Just a little.
A little worried, William? That's all right. Don't worry about him. All right, later. I'm a little worried about. Why are you worried about him, John? Why are you worried about him? What did Luke Musgrave do to you? Kraft's injured. Don't worry about Musgrave. Or you just draft both. It's a great cuff. It's a really great cuff. What's my team look like here? I feel like I potentially need. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide receivers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 RBs, 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, a partridge and a pear tree. I got Kyle Pitts and Luke Musgrave. Both have different bye weeks, so I'm not really too concerned. My wide receivers, 3 of my wide receivers have the same bye week in week 14. Bye weeks are kind of irrelevant in the sense that, I mean, you want to have guys that play, but like you also want to try and maximize. Let's see here. Gesicki ain't bad. I'm gonna go Kraft here since I've got Musgrave and do that old safe and secure Luke Musgrave Kraft with Kyle Pitts, doing it live. Different bye weeks for Kraft or different bye weeks for the Green Bay guys and Pitts, so it makes sense for me. I love when people hate cuffing in best ball. It's not that cuffing's bad. You got to cuff the right situation. Not every cuff is good. This is true. Drafting other people's backups instead of your own cuffs is sometimes smart, sometimes not. Drafting Corum when you have Kyron is a must. Drafting the backup to, I don't know, let's call it, the Chargers situation. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't want the backup situation there at all. Drafting the backup to, like if you believe Nick Chubb's the starter, I don't need that. I just want a standalone forward. Shaquille says never drafting a tight end early. LOL. Well, that's good for you, but that's not the approach you should be taking. You should be taking the best player available approach. That might be a tight end. It might not be a tight end. It kind of depends on the situation, the way the board's falling. I do love waiting on a tight end and grabbing, the Luke Musgraves and the Kraft cuffing to go with even a Dallas Goedert who's late, so there's definitely value. But to say I'd never draft a tight end, you're basically saying I'll never, ever draft a certain position. Like, what if it's amazing value? You're telling me you don't take McBride in round 5 or Kincaid in round 5 if they fall to late 5? That's a win-a-league move, my guy. That is a win-a-league move, my mang. My mang. What are you talking about? What are we doing back there? God, do I really take Odell? I just made fun of it the other day. I don't know who else to take here. This is a bare bones situation here. Bare bones situation. I guess. Odell. Never thought I'd do it. The final round's okay, though, but he's a guy that never works out. But I don't need him to work out all year. I just need him to help out a little bit. Can you do that for me, Odell? Can you catch a few balls? Can you kind of stay healthy for half a year at least? Give me something. Give me something, Odell. Devin Singletary. Yeah, Devin. Don't cuff Devin Singletary. Don't cuff everything. People are wild, man. Elijah Moore. No, thank you. Why? No thanks. Jerry Rice's son may be Mingo. No thanks. I like Jerry Rice's, son, but he's in a horrible situation, in my opinion. Okay. It's good teams, guys. I've reviewed majority of your teams so far. I'm not going to review them again. Again, rock out. I like your squad. I think that's the last one I reviewed. Very decent running backs, considering you went heavy. Wide receiver, which was good. Overcoached his own team. He just said, let's go all, everybody on 3. We're going to overcoach and draft all wide receivers. Break. Who do you even draft as RB? What's going on back here? Best Ball Mania. Let's get back here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the Best Ball Mania. Doing it live. Where are you, best? There it is. God, I got to get on the Best Ball Mania. I'm only at 19. I need to max out on it too. I vow to max out on the Best Ball Mania. We've been drafting all these other. These other tournaments come up, and we get excited about it, and we jump in and. What were we looking at? Oh, the outcoach is himself. Sorry if you're in here, outcoach. I'm sorry, bro. Okay. So who'd you get at RB? Mostert, Tony Pollard, Zeke Elliott. Oh my God. Why does anybody do this? Why would you do this? Why don't I put a blindfold on and just eliminate all the positions and sort by wide receiver only and just start punching it? What are you doing back there? Bat from the 6th spot. Same kind of thing. I don't know. Who's your running back? You got Najee, Jonathan Brooks. That's pretty good, Swift. You did pretty good with it, though. But you didn't. You also didn't. Yeah, you did pretty good with it. You got Andrews, too. I don't mind how it turned out for you, number 6, but I don't think it's the best team, partly because of that, but I think it turned out pretty well for you. Bijan, Saquon, Tank, George Pickens, Hollywood, Christian Watson, Coleman. You guys did pretty good in this. There's a lot of good teams in here. Troy with the Puka. What's up, 772? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, what's going on?
What's your name and where are you calling
I'm from Florida. And my name's Amari.
What's up, Amari?
Yo, nothing much. I was just wondering, what do you think about this season of football coming up?
I don't know, Amari. I mean, it's kind of a vague question. What do you think about it?
That's pretty vague, you think?
Yeah.
Damn. How about this?
How about this? Sounds like a troll. All right. Dial in. Phone line's open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Do it live. I swear, some people, man. Some people. I don't know how long we're going to be out here doing it and doing it live. We'll have to see. 732 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
What's up? I'm Bobby from Jersey.
What's up, Bobby from Jersey?
I just wanted to see how you're doing, Smitty.
I'm doing good. What do you think about this football season?
Well, actually, I called only because the last guy that you just had on asked that big ass question, and it made me laugh.
Yeah. What do you got for me? Hit me with something specific though. I mean,
What do I think about this next season? Honestly, I think that anything goes this next season.
Okay. Can you be a little more specific?
I think you need to be stacking it up. You got to be correlated more than anyone else that's out there correlating. You should be out there doing your research, schedule, searching, scanning for what you can do to make your team advance, plus be successful in the finals.
Be a slave to the data.
And, I think whoever does the most legwork, I think this year, will actually come out on top.
Wow. All right. You got a specific question about a player?
I first time, long time. Smitty, I love you. You are the graveyard shift king. You put out some of the best content there is on the internet. Probably the best if you really were to cut down to it.
Thanks for the correction.
You got a great show. I've been in the closet watching your show for years. And you know, I think I've called once before and I was too drunk and it didn't get through. But you're on the ball, kid.
Thanks, Bobby. All right, Bobby. Well, call back when you got something specific, and your second go around, I think you're going to smash the phone call. All right.
Well, to be honest, I got a bone to pick with Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
What do you think about Calvin Ridley? You think he should be going where he is ahead of DeAndre Hopkins?
I do. I think Hopkins, being the old dog that he is, there's more concern with him than there is Ridley. Ridley did produce when you really think about it. I mean, his numbers were pretty decent. At the end of the day, it's his inconsistency that killed people, because a lot of people benched him at some point, and then when they benched him, he'd do well, and so they never really got the relish in any of his success. But the other thing to keep in mind, bro, is the usage that he had, which may not, I mean, we may see similar frustrations, though, in Tennessee. That's the only concern I have, is that they may be sending him down deep into the, into the weeds, and he's going to have to try and pull in these low percentage conversion catches like he did in Jacksonville. Because what they did is they'd send him, we come into a live stream in week 2, week 3, week 4. I don't remember the exact weeks, but we'd come into the live stream, bro, and we'd be like, Calvin Ridley got 0 points, but he almost had 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it'd be like week in and week out. And so he was doing his job. He was running great routes. He was getting nearly open, and the ball would be overthrown by the law dog, or it would be an amazing pass, but it needed to be thrown to a point where it almost had to either be incomplete or caught by Ridley but not intercepted. Or the defender makes a great play on a play that was great by Ridley and great by T-Law, and it was over and over and over and over again. So if you owned Ridley and you watched him astutely, you knew that this was probably taking place. Now, I look at the board right here, and Calvin Ridley goes 65. Do I like Kamara more at 64? Yes, that's why I took Kamara, but I contemplated Ridley there. Watson at 66. I like Watson a little bit more. If I'm going wide receiver there, I like Watson there. Hopkins to me is the next round or so, and even then I'm not necessarily guaranteeing I'm taking him. I might take Ridley and take JSN the next round instead of stacking it. I like Keon Coleman more than I like Calvin Ridley. I like Keon Coleman more than I like a lot of guys. And looking at this, I almost wish I took Keon Coleman with my 64 pick, but I like the Alvin Kamara selection actually. But I don't know. I think Ridley's he's kind of plotted right about where he needs to be. I think Brian Thomas, Christian Watson, Calvin Ridley, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara in that round 6 are all pretty arguable. I don't think Ridley stands out as a guy that doesn't belong. I think if you start talking around 5, I'm out. So my line in the sand to where he becomes a good gamble is probably the end of 6, mid 6, preferably 7. Top of 7 would be ideal, but we can't get what we want sometimes.
Thank you.
All right. Bobby, appreciate you. Call back anytime, pal.
I'll be in touch. Take it easy, Smitty.
Yeah. Travis, what is going on, man?
What's up, kid?
What's up, kid?
I like that. Is there ever a time you don't do best player available? Like, you've been doing best player available for 3 rounds, but you need a quarterback, or is it just that by that point that quarterback is going to be the best player available?
Well, think about it from this perspective. Best player available changes based on your position of need. You know, it's not always who's the most bang for the buck.
Okay, right.
Necessarily,
That's
it's
true.
also who's the most bang for the buck and best for your squad. So,
Good point.
you know, it's like if you need a QB, best player available gets resorted on the fly. Hold on one second. 3-2.
Well, so actually,
Let me put 3-2-1 on hold. 3-2-1. What's your name, bro? Where are you calling from?
I'm Travis. I'm from Orlando.
From what?
Orlando.
And what's your name?
Travis.
Travis?
Yeah.
Okay. From Orlando.
Good
You
name.
can barely hear you. You calling on the fax line or what?
Good name, though.
So you can't hear me?
A little bit better. All right. Hold on, Travis. Let me go over to Travis from Orlando. Hold on. Let me go over to Travis. Travis, what was your last question here?
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Early. Well, you're talking to me. Yeah.
Go ahead, Travis from Orlando, real quickly. Go ahead.
Yeah. So earlier I was listening, and I wasn't gonna call in about this. I couldn't let it slide. Smitty, I ain't gonna lie to you. You said Josh Allen
Can't hear you.
made Stephon Diggs.
I
Is that
said
what you said?
Josh Allen made Stephon Diggs? Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah. Yeah, the stats don't support that.
But
Like,
they do.
Josh Allen never threw for. Josh Allen never threw for more than 3,000. He never threw for 4,000 yards until Diggs got there. Diggs was
Bro,
already a
because
1,000-yard
Josh Allen was developing. They like developed at the same time. Josh Allen proved that he does not need Diggs when he balled out the entire second half of the season and carried this team back into a impossible playoff.
Yeah, but they
berth
never won
without
nothing, though.
Diggs doing jack shiat. Diggs was hampering this team.
They got knocked out. They got knocked out by not that great of a team. So I mean, clearly they should have used Diggs more. And like I said, Josh Allen never threw for 4,000 yards until Diggs got there. Diggs was already a 1,000-yard receiver. So
Diggs was a good receiver. Diggs was a good receiver that Josh Allen turned great. And Josh Allen was getting into his own at that point. They were both developing together. So it is hard and confusing. I can see where people are like unsure which came first, the chicken or the egg or the chicken. Like, there's no doubt that it's a combination that they both.
No.
Hold on a second, bro. Hold on, bro.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that they both helped each other develop. They've even said that. They both said that. Nobody made the other person necessarily. But Josh Allen can survive without Diggs very easily, and he proved that during the entirety of the second half of the season when he carried this team back from an improbable playoff berth, and it was Diggs that hampered this team, and his lack of focus, the drop footballs. Josh Allen didn't even go to him at the end of the game when he was wide open because he didn't trust him, and he was a hindrance, and they had to let him go because he kept running his mouth constantly. He thinks he's the one that made Josh Allen, and I disagree with him, and I disagree with what you're saying. And I think that to try and pin it on his stats, hold on a second, bro. To pin it on his stats, bro, hold on. I'm still telling you. To pin it on because Josh Allen rose up right at that moment when they got him a wide receiver that he could help facilitate to improve his game, I think it's misplaced.
It was significant, though. It was a significant increase. Like, it was way more
so
significant
was
than when
Diggs. Diggs was good.
Allen.
Diggs was good in Minnesota. He was not great in Minnesota, bro. He was not an elite player in Minnesota. He came over as a very good player that made some big plays. We were wondering how good he could be. Could Josh Allen elevate his game? Josh Allen elevated his game. They elevated each other's game but Josh Allen is an absolute, he's the #1 quarterback in the National Football League, bro. What kind of conversation are we really having here?
He's the #1 fantasy. No, he's a fantasy quarterback. He's not, in real life, he's not winning much. He hasn't won anything.
Well, he's trying to do it all by himself. And his receiver gave up. His receiver was causing problems, so they got rid of him. So they brought him in a new wide receiver. They brought him in a new Stephon Diggs. Bro, he's so. Tell me what rank you have Josh Allen. Tell me what rank you have Josh Allen in NFL football, bro.
I think he's like the 5th best quarterback.
Huh?
5th, number 5.
Number 5? You don't think he's better than that? I mean, it's still highly ranked.
No.
I'm not saying it's ridiculous to rank him there. I mean, if you got Stroud and you like Lamar, I get it. I disagree with you. I think Josh Allen's a top 3 quarterback. I think he's obviously #1 in fantasy, but he's a top 3 quarterback in the National Football League. I think, we don't complain about other quarterbacks not, converting and finishing the job like Lamar. But yet everybody throws Lamar continuously in the top 5. He continues to lose. He continues to drop the ball. The same thing that everyone's saying about Dak, people say it about Josh Allen all the time. Josh Allen doesn't get the help he deserves.
Lamar never had
literally puts everybody on his back.
Lamar never had Diggs, though.
Lamar has had plenty of players. He doesn't make wide receivers top 25 wide receivers. It's not
like Diggs. He's never had a Diggs.
Okay, but Hollywood Brown was way better than Lamar was able to make him. So Lamar just doesn't produce top 25 guys. Lamar's not a great passer. He's a good passer and he's an elite runner. Josh Allen's 10 times the passer Lamar is. 10 times the passer Lamar is. Are we really going there?
I think Josh Allen was great. But to say he made Diggs, the stats just don't show that. That's
okay, here. I'll say it again. He made Diggs.
Honestly, it shows the opposite.
He made Diggs. That's my take. You can disagree with it all you want, but I think they helped each other. They helped each other. They were there at the right time together. But there's way more of Josh Allen making Diggs than Diggs making Josh Allen. Did they help each other? Absolutely. But Josh Allen is an absolute phenom. Diggs is a diva that was fed and spoon-fed amazing passes by Josh Allen for years, and he complains and cries, and he finally gets to go elsewhere where he gets a good quarterback, but for some dumb reason, his camp told him to void all the years of his contract down to the 1 year, which was the dumbest move he could have ever made. Just proving he doesn't know what he's doing. Absolute stupidity to take away all those years on his contract. A very nice contract that paid him very handsomely. He just sees all this money being made and he wants to bank on himself, but he's an old man in wide receiver years. He's not going to get this lucrative monster deal after the 2024 season, especially now that he's nailed down his contract to 1 year. He's more expendable to this team. So Diggs is going to say the grass is not greener, but watch and see this unfold the same way it unfolded with AB. The grass is greener. No, it's not.
Hold on, AB balled into the end now. AB balled into the end. He just went a little crazy.
AB balled at the end, but AB balled at the end.
Nearly what he used to look like. I think he's going to fall off.
AB balled at the end, but AB regretted. He said he regretted leaving Big Ben. And Adam says he regretted leaving Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you, Diggs doesn't know what he's doing. And it's not.
Diggs is going to look way better this year without Allen than he did. He's going to look better without Allen, honestly.
Okay.
Allen has accuracy issues. He's not.
Bro, come on.
Hey,
come on, bro. Come on. You're obviously anti-Josh Allen person because this is wild. We're really talking Diggs has more to do with Josh Allen than Josh Allen had to do with Diggs. I can't even comprehend this conversation.
Show it.
I can't. The stats don't show it. The stats don't. You keep saying that. The stats don't show it. They don't show anything. You're trying to correlate something. You're trying to correlate something that you can't separate. You can't separate that Diggs was there when Josh Allen emerged.
You get a whole 1,000 extra yards when somebody gets traded. It's clearly because of that guy who's already been a 1,000-yard receiver.
Bro, Diggs showed you he has nothing to do with Josh Allen's success. Because in the second half of the season, when it counted,
Okay, you're gonna see him succeed without him. Then
Josh Allen's the one that marched. Josh
Allen.
Allen marched this team into a playoff berth. It was an almost improbable playoff berth, and Diggs
You
had
don't get
nothing
hurt
to do
playing
with
like
it.
that, Smitty. That's not sustainable football. He's not gonna win anything playing like that.
Okay, well,
So,
you clearly don't like
he can try.
Josh Allen, and you have an agenda against Josh Allen, clearly. So let it play out. That's fine.
Batters are going to get hurt.
That's fine. You think Diggs is going to look better? Let's circle back. Circle back. Call back this time next year, and we'll find out. We'll see how good Diggs looks. I've heard this conversation before. I don't think you'll even call in, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I will. No, I'm not.
I hear that
I'll
every
eat my
time.
clothes.
I always hear
Right.
that. I heard that with all the Mike, what is it, Mike Thomas debates that I have with people that call in and do the same thing. You'll see Mike Thomas is going to be so good this year. You'll see. Like, this sounds like the same debate. Yeah, the hate for Josh.
For Diggs, though, can we just define it? What does success look like for Diggs? Like, what would he need to do for you to be like, all right, I was wrong?
What would Diggs have to do to prove that I was wrong? This isn't even necessarily something that would prove what we're talking about with Josh Allen. Like, these are almost two different debates right now. I think Diggs has made a mistake. So to win that argument, I mean, if he's the number one wide receiver in Houston, then I'm wrong. If he's the number one wide receiver in Houston,
stat wise.
Well, I mean,
like 1,000 yards, like
no. How does that make him look better? You just said he looked better in Houston than he looked with Josh Allen. So what is that? That's a top 5 wide receiver. You're trying to tell me he's going to be. you're the one that's saying it, not me. I don't have anything to prove. You said he'll look better with Stroud than he did Josh Allen.
So if he get like 1,200 yards.
Well, is that better than when he did with Josh Allen? No. I'm not saying that's...
Last year, yeah.
What?
Than last year.
Okay, so now you're pinning it down to last year? Okay, so what was the stat line? So, but now you're changing it. You're trying to move the goalpost. You're saying you said he'll look better with Stroud than he did Josh Allen, and then now you're saying, well, last year when Diggs completely fell off, I'm supposed to judge Josh Allen for Diggs being a diva and giving up the entire second half of the season. You're saying if he goes and looks better with Stroud, I'm wrong. Like he may very well play better than he did when he gave up for the Buffalo Bills.
I don't think he gave up. The offense clearly changed. Like, they clearly changed offensive philosophy. I don't think he just gave up.
He did give up. He did give up. Everybody talks about he quit and on plays. He dropped balls. He cried like a baby, and now he got his wish. He's elsewhere. I mean, clearly you're a Diggs fan. I get it, but bro, this is not the conversation you're going to win with anybody listening.
I'm not that big of a Diggs fan, but I just think Josh Allen, it's not going to look good for him this year.
Okay, well that's a great take. He's the number one quarterback in fantasy football. He finished better than he started. He was the number one quarterback last year in fantasy football and didn't have Diggs for half a season. And where was he at his best? Without Diggs for half of that season. That's where he was at his best. That's when he was scoring more fantasy points than before. So how can you even argue this? I don't even know where you're coming from on it. He was absolute balling without Diggs doing a single thing. In fact, Diggs was hampering him because he didn't trust him.
All they had was Diggs when they decided we're not going to pass to Diggs nearly as much. Who else is going to get touches? He got to put the team on.
So how did Josh Allen do? Keon Coleman is going to ball, bro. Kincaid's going to step up big time.
In 2025, Keon Coleman will be good.
Okay, in 2024, he's going to be good. Well, that's your opinion. I think Keon Coleman could outscore Diggs this year, bro. Keon Coleman could be a better fantasy wide receiver than Diggs. Well, that's your opinion.
No way.
That's your opinion. You're also saying Diggs didn't. You're also saying Josh Allen didn't make Diggs. We disagree on all this.
Plus now Allen can spread the ball around.
All right, make another Diggs then. Keon Coleman is his next Diggs. Let's see.
Well, we talk about it every day. No offense, but I don't need you for that. Like we already talk about Keon Coleman pretty much every day, bro. We don't need this conversation in order to prove that. I hear what you're saying. I just disagree with 100% of it. What?
Definitely not Diggs. I love
Okay,
Keon
well,
Coleman.
definitely
he's
not. How do you know? Definitely not Diggs. He's definitely not Diggs. How do you know that? Because he hasn't done it yet? Because it's too uncomfortable?
He can't run a route.
It's too uncomfortable?
As good as Diggs. He's not I'm a route you up guy.
Bro.
He's not a route runner like that.
Oh, he isn't? Okay. You could have fooled me what he was doing today.
Let me. You were talking about. I mean, yeah, he's not nearly the route runner Diggs.
Bro, I'll tell you what you are. You need to. You're a need to see it. You're right. I need to see it. Ian, is who you are. You need to see it. It's uncomfortable until it is. I get it. Okay. But you start trying to say things like he can't run a route. He's not good. Look at this. I'm holding the footage of him today up on my phone.
Not like Diggs. He can't run
I don't
routes.
care. Look, you can say everything you want about Diggs. Not about Diggs. He's not about Diggs. Diggs is an old man, bro. Diggs in wide receiver years is already past his prime. He's dropping off. Keon Coleman is a better player for Josh Allen right now than Diggs is. We've already seen that proven on the field when Diggs gave up and didn't do anything for him the second half of the season. And they got rid of him. They got rid of him, bro, at a big cost just to cut the weight, the dead weight that was Stephon Diggs, that you keep thinking is like some amazing player. It's going to bounce back in a crowded wide receiver room as the wide receiver 3 when he nailed his contract down to a 1 year, making himself expendable. And when this team's planning around this offense, you think they're going to go with the guy that's on a 1 year deal? You think this guy's going to be a focal point of this offense? I don't think so.
Yeah, why sign him for 1 year and not use him for like 1 year? It makes no sense.
Well, it definitely makes him an expendable piece. He starts crying and complaining, they could cut him at any moment.
That's just internet narrative. I don't believe none of that stuff. Every one of his teammates say he's a great teammate. So I'm going with his team.
Everyone you see is remember when the team the guy walked around, the reporter. Remember when the reporter walked around and said, "Who would you least let your sister date?" They all said Diggs. He's a dog.
Yep.
This is great. He's a dog. He's a dog, and you can't trust him. You can't trust him. Look, bro. We're going around in circles. You like Diggs? It's fine. You think Diggs is going to ball out in Houston? You've already made your point. We'll see if you call back, and it is what it is.
All right. I am high on Curtis Samuel. I like Curtis Samuel.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, man. All right, later.
All right, man. Be safe.
All right, you too. All right, let me go over Travis real quick, and then I'm going to head over to Bobby and then to Ill Phil. But go ahead, Travis. Like talking to a wall, especially a wall I couldn't hear. It's like he's calling from his fax machine, and you can't hear a single word he's saying. I'm making out most of it.
Tough phone. Well, I'll just say on with the whole Diggs and Coleman thing, like Diggs was a 5th round pick, and he made the most of his talent. And he did really well for himself. And then he went to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, they helped each other. Allen took him up another level. But right now, Keon Coleman is a 1st-round pick for a reason. It's not like he was a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round pick. He has 1st-round talent, which means he has a shorter route than most receivers to becoming a number 1 receiver. So when you put him with Josh Allen, you can expect something
I hear it all the time, man. Like, and I am making a stance in planting a flag here on Keon Coleman. We did it on the earlier show today. We've talked about him. He's been a moon man. Let me pull him up real quickly and show everybody.
The moon man.
Coleman's been a moon man for
in outer space.
Lord knows how many months. So it's not like this is new to the channel whatsoever, okay? But we did plant another flag, yet another flag. We planted a flag on the moon man list months ago. We're planting another flag here saying Keon Coleman might be a wide receiver 1, fantasy football wide receiver, low end, probably 12 or 13, 14, like in the dancing territory of the low end wide receiver 1s at some point this year. Is he there all year long? I can't promise that. But this guy, as Travis said, drafted in the 1st round for a reason. The metrics are phenomenal. The fastest wide receiver in the draft class in terms of miles per hour in all the field drills. So the game speed is faster than anybody.
Too.
I don't care about the 40 time when you tell it. Look, the 40 time and the miles per hour game speed were both low. we could have a conversation about being worried about his speed. But when he's got a slow 40 time, whatever, but he's the fastest wide receiver at the combine in game speed, miles per hour data when running the gauntlet drills and running routes on the field, then I could care less about your 40 time. You've just told me he's at the most important stat, he's the fastest wide receiver on the field. He's the quickest wide receiver on the field. And Josh Allen, there's so many targets to go around. He's going to fast track him. He's going to turn him into his next Diggs, just like Aaron Rodgers turns whoever he has into some slightly better player. Josh Allen's going to turn Coleman into a slightly better player than he ever would have been. And that's the same thing that happened to Diggs. And if anybody thinks differently, I'm sorry you think that way, but you're wrong. Diggs would have never been as good as he is today in anyone's mind, even though he's dropped off, in my opinion. But the version of Diggs, the most elite, highest performing version of Diggs we've seen, was because of Josh Allen. Now, did Diggs help Josh Allen cultivate? Yes, he did. But you take Josh Allen away from Diggs, it's going to have a more dramatic impact than taking now Diggs away from Josh Allen, who may have been assisted, and it's helpful to have good wide receivers. No one's saying that Stroud would be as good as Stroud is without Dell and Nico and all those guys. It's a dumb comment to make when you start to say, oh, without the wide receivers, Josh Allen wouldn't have been any good. Josh Allen's good because of Diggs. You need wide receivers in order to develop and be a good player. You need a quarterback to develop and be a good player. It's both. It goes both ways. But to suggest that Josh Allen without Diggs wouldn't have turned into the player that he's turned into, wouldn't have helped sculpt and mold another wide receiver into that form of player is wild to me. The lack of the disrespect thrown Josh Allen's way is wild. It's almost borderline like worrisome that people can't see straight about Josh Allen, that he's a top 3 quarterback in the National Football League. These notions that he's a top 1 to 3 fantasy QB, but not a top 3 NFL QB because he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl, and this team's not supporting him the way they need to, and he's trying to carry them, and he does a damn good job carrying them year in and year out as far as he can take it. This is still a very far territory to drag your team by yourself without any sort of consistency. And you have Diggs helping you out 0. You have a rookie tight end that's developing, and he'll be so good this year. Keon Coleman is better than Diggs is right now. Keon Coleman is better for the Bills and Josh Allen than Diggs would have been staying. It's an absolute dumb argument, in my opinion. Ridiculous.
The last thing I'll say, I'll let you move on. A lot of the people who come in talking like that about Josh Allen, when you stop them and say, well, where do you rank him as a quarterback in the NFL? They almost always still say top 5, though. So it's like, so what are you doing? He sucks. He's not that good. He's going to fall off, but he's a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It's wild.
It doesn't track.
Hey, real quickly, guys, let me just stay right there. Let me get these super chats out of the way. Harvest says Kyle Pitts, top 3 tight end. Thank you, Harvest, for dropping the super chat. Rockout says this football season, JD5 drops loads. That's no doubt about that. Rockout says check your DM. Thank you, Rockout. Let me go get that in a second. Justin Rush with the super chat. I like Godwin. I tend to take another position in that area, but if I need a wide receiver, he goes right before the area of uncertainty at wide receiver. A lot of 1,000-yard seasons, too. I don't blame people for liking Godwin, but I'm not on board this Godwin hype right now. Diggs will be waived before week 11 this year. He's a cancer in the locker room. Bills Mafia. Let's go, Jimmy the Drunk. Jimmy the Drunk is a Buffalo Bill fan. I'm a Buffalo Bill fan. So it's my 2 teams are the Bills and the Cardinals. So I know a lot of the pain that is the Buffalo Bills falling short. And I can also speak to Diggs more than this caller. I can also speak to Diggs more than most people. Jimmy the Drunk's a Buffalo Bill fan. He can speak to it too. But a true fan understands that Diggs was a dead weight cancer in the locker room, and he was dragging Josh Allen down. And the reason this team lost was because Josh Allen couldn't trust one of the wide receiver options on the field, and that limited what he could do. And when Diggs was dragging across the field, capable of getting a first down at the end of the game, Josh Allen looked at him and said, I can't trust him. He just dropped the football earlier. His head's not in it. He doesn't even care about being here. I'm going to hit, I think it was Shakir, in the end zone. Josh Allen got hit when he threw it. The ball grounded, hit about 10 yards short. Game was over. Bills lost. Everybody blamed Josh Allen. I don't. As a Bills fan, I don't blame Josh Allen at all. At all. think Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks that we've seen play in the NFL in quite some time, and I'm proud to be an American Josh Allen fan.
He carries him.
Let me go over. You what?
Allen carries the Bills more than people realize.
Yeah, let's go over to Bobby and then over to Ill Phil. Bobby, what's up?
I mean, I can't get off this Buffalo-Houston comparison. I want to talk value with you. I do tons and hundreds of best ball drafts. I find it personally hard to be grabbing Houston players at this point. They all go in the first 4 rounds. I'm talking about wide receivers. Stroud goes, like 60-something. It's just, to me, the value, when you look at it, comparing the Buffalo wide receivers compared to the Houston receivers and where they go relative in the draft, it's like, how can you not be slamming Buffalo receivers? I mean, if you think about it, how many yards you were expecting C.J. Stroud to throw for this year? I mean, it was his rookie year, and he threw for 4,100
He can throw 5
yards. That's a lot of yards.
He can throw 5 bills.
I think that he can throw 5. But how much more fantasy points is that to justify
1,000 yards,
Collins, and Dell to be going?
The
first 4 rounds.
Let me just say this. I don't disagree with you in a lot of ways. Okay, number one, I love Tank Dell's 4th round value. That we're not going to see eye to eye on. I think that's fantastic value, and I really do even like Stroud's value. Stroud went in this draft. Stroud went at number 58 in the 5th round. That's almost the 6th round. I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with Tank Dell and Stroud. And if you're going to draft any Houston Texans players, you're spending your 4th and 5th rounder or 4th and 6th rounder on that, and I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But where I do agree with you 1,000% is when people start taking Diggs, Nico Collins in this 2nd round, who's absolutely asinine. Nico going at 15 overall is ridiculous. I would never do that. Where did Diggs go in this draft? He did fall into the late 3rd round, but even then, I'm not loving that value. I passed on it clearly for Jalen Hurts. So I'm with you on the Nico and Diggs. I think it's ridiculous to invest in those guys. One thing you'll notice, and the reason why they're going high, is the stacking of players. AJ Brown going a little higher, Hurts going a little higher, is because people are trying to stack these together and people are seeking them out. They love to stack the high octane offense, so it drives their best ball ADP up a little bit higher than the non-best ball. But I'm in agreement with you that if I take Josh Allen, let's say in the 3rd round, and I take Keon Coleman, and I take Shakir, and I take Dalton Kincaid, I still got a 1st rounder, I still got a 2nd rounder, I still got a 4th and maybe even a 5th rounder to build around that, and I much rather prefer that line of attack. So we're on the same page there. I just don't necessarily agree with all Houston players, because there is 5,000 yards to divvy up, bro. 35 to 40 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. Stroud could have a damn good season. So there's some room for a Houston.
He doesn't run either.
Yeah.
I hear you. When you look at this best ball is kind of like, you want to view it sort of as a stock market, you know what I mean? So, like, I can't invest, my capital in those Houston receivers going at such an early round when I could otherwise get these Buffalo guys going so much later. Coleman goes in the 70s, Samuel in the 90s, Shakir like in the 110s. Like, I cannot. The value to me is in the draft where I would much rather the 2v2s in that spot.
There's 100,000 ways, as we say, to skin a cat, bro. So it's not like you're drafting that every time. So I do think there is room for Stroud and Dell. I don't think there's room for Nico in round 2. I don't think there's room for Diggs in 2 or 3. But I've already said that. You've said what you said twice. I've said what I said twice. So like I get it. But you're not going to convince me that Dell or Stroud's a mistake. But I do think that Diggs and Nico are. Nico is a great player. I love him, but there's no way I'm spending a 2nd round pick on him. That's absolutely asinine. That's his ceiling.
I don't think it's a mistake. I just think you want to be a little bit underweighted on him. Just a little bit.
Well, maybe. But also you got to diversify a little bit. And Stroud's not a bad guy to take in round 5. I've seen him fall to 6, bro. There's nothing wrong with a 5,000-yard receiver or quarterback that might throw for 40 touchdowns. Like, it could be 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards in the 6th round. There's nothing to complain about there. That's like Dak Prescott's season, that he just finished like 2, 3, 4 overall for quarterbacks. A lot of people won, tournaments because of Dak Prescott last year. So Stroud might be the Dak Prescott of 2024. So I wouldn't be running for him in every draft, bro. I'll diversify a little bit into that.
How significant do you think the offensive scoring is going to be changing due to the new kickoff rules?
A lot, and I don't think anybody talks about it but me. I think there's gonna be a lot more touchdowns. There's gonna be a lot less punts. Defenses are gonna play a little differently. Stats are gonna be a little bit different. The only thing I can envision happening to neutralize what I'm saying or what I'm fearing, or I don't even know if we call it fearing, but like I like to know where we stand from year to year. I like to know what's what. I like to know that 40 touchdowns is this. I like to know that a receiver getting 1,400 yards and 15 scores is going to rank here every year. Like I like knowing those things as a content creator, as a stat guy, as an analyst. And so I'm a little bit fearful that things are just going to change and get flipped upside down. The only thing that can neutralize it is if defense or if teams get creative, like in the example of having a defensive player kick off and get good at pinning the ball into the zone, and then you have an extra defender on field versus your kicker, and so you're able to actually pin the ball at the 30-yard line a lot of the time, or 35-yard line, then things aren't changing too much. But if the ball's at the frequenting the 45 and 50-yard line on kickoffs, we're in some trouble. Because what we know to be today's NFL is going to be different. We're going to have a 55 touchdown quarterback, a 52 touchdown quarterback, and a 51 touchdown quarterback, and we're going to go, what in the hell do we do now? But there's a good chance that maybe we're overblowing it. There's a good chance everybody's not even seeing what's coming. It's hard to know.
Cool shit, man. I cannot wait.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Ill Phil, you're live. Ill Phil, what's up?
Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, Smitty?
What's up, Ill?
Hey, so I found the conversation real interesting, and I'm on the road, so I figured I'd call in. I think Diggs, if memory serves me right, he didn't really become a desirable, round 1 fantasy guy until he became Josh Allen's top target.
Oh, of course. That's why I was telling that guy.
And, I just think of other guys. I think you could make the argument that some other guys had the ability to make their quarterbacks. I think of Garrett Wilson catching that touchdown pass that Zach Wilson threw him, where Garrett Wilson had to, bobble it to get it in. The pass was a little off. Guys like Randy Moss, Megatron, Justin Jefferson, I can't believe some of the balls he's gone up and gotten. But I have to agree with you that Diggs was just anybody put in that position would have balled out with Josh Allen peppering the target.
You can't use that. Oh, without him, the quarterback wouldn't be the quarterback. It's really a dumb argument. When the quarterback proves how good they are, and they're Josh Allen, they're Patrick Mahomes, they're C.J. Stroud. Of course, they need the receiver. They got the receiver. They're lucky to have the receivers they have. But it's ridiculous to start trying to reverse engineer this and say the quarterback is not the one making this happen. The quarterback is at the head of everything. He's the head of the table. There's no denying that they benefited from each other, but you could have seen the other replacement wide receiver help Josh Allen and benefit Josh Allen to the same degree as, and like I said, what further proof do you need, which is was making me bang my head against the wall with the caller. It was like Josh Allen didn't even have his services the entire second half of the season, and he balled the hell out, and it was an impossible playoff berth that he single-handedly handed the Buffalo Bills and the fan base. And this guy's acting like Diggs is going to be missed. Diggs ain't going to be missed at all. And Keon Coleman, it is funny when people say you can't say what you're saying about JD5, Smitty. When I say JD5 is going to be better than Lamar Jackson. You can't say that. Why can't I say that? Because it makes you uncomfortable. Well, boo-hoo for you. I could care less. If I think somebody's going to be the next Adrian Peterson, I'll say it. When I said it back in the day, look, I've been kind of an outcast in the fantasy industry since the beginning, and it's because I have outlandish takes. I'm a wild man. I say things you shouldn't be able to say. I hate that he's doing that. He's throwing mud at the wall to see if it'll stick, when that's not the case. I wouldn't still be doing what I'm doing if that was what I was doing. And it definitely rubs a lot of people the wrong way. That's why no one invites me on their shows. We never see any. Everyone hates the analyst industry seems to hate, I guess, my style. I guess I'm too aggressive. I'm too wild man, whatever the case may be. But back before there was YouTube and back before there was actually any sort of video, presence or whatever, my writing also was in a similar aggressive fashion, when I would say outlandish things like Adrian Peterson's going to be the number 1 running back in the National Football League as a rookie. And everyone's like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Especially back then. There was nobody. I was the one that essentially coined bold predictions in the fantasy football industry. And this was back in like the 2002, 2003. It was outlandish to come out with a bold prediction. And so I coined the bold prediction board. I started dropping bold predictions on a weekly basis on NBC and CBS Sports Radio, which was a program I was on, not because it was necessarily, like I said, an outcast like type person, but I had a buddy and I that he created the show. He brought me on. I dropped bold predictions. I landed them, and I was invited back every year since, and was on it for 19 straight years. But Adrian Peterson being the number 1 running back, outlandish. Absolutely laughable. People were like, this guy hasn't even played a snap yet, and this guy's talking about Adrian Peterson being the number 1 running back in the league. He's too upright. He'll never make it. Adrian Peterson had 50% of the people thought he would bust in the fantasy industry, and they absolutely hated this guy. Too upright. Wasn't going to be good. And it's always wild until it comes true, And so to say things like Keon Coleman, I'm not saying Keon Coleman's going to be the best receiver in the league or anything. I'm saying Keon Coleman has the makings of a low end, at least, wide receiver 1. I'm not sure how quickly we'll see it, but this guy has the makings of it, and he's being handed the situation for it. Like, what better formula is there? And for anybody to balk at the idea of Keon Coleman replacing Diggs and being better than Diggs could be right now in Buffalo, the Diggs we know right now, to laugh at Keon Coleman being better than that is funny to me. I'm the one laughing. I appreciate the entertainment. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Diggs is going to he's on my do not draft list, in redraft, and I think he's going to just fade away, kind of like when Allen Robinson went from the Bears to the Rams, and I think what Keenan Allen is doing this year, going to the Bears, they're just going to fade off into retirement eventually, and have produced roles and whatnot.
Yeah. All right, bro. Anything else? Ill Phil to the moon.
I had a couple other things, but I've forgotten them, so I'll call again next time when they come back.
All right. Hey, Ill Phil, appreciate you, bro. Call in anytime. Later. Ill Phil from the road. Becoming a tradition. Later, bro. All right. Travis, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just you touch on what you think Curtis Samuel will do. There's a little conversation going on in the chat. Some people think he's going to play a big role. I think he'll do what he does all the time, which is have a nice role in the team, but he's not going to dominate touches.
Yeah, that's a tough one, bro. I'm kind of torn on who's the number 2 wide receiver in Buffalo this year. Keon Coleman's the one. I think Shakir's probably the guy, but there is a sense that they brought in Curtis Samuel because they needed somebody, to really kind of take on with Diggs leaving, there is an opening, and they wanted somebody that could bring a veteran leadership to the table. But like Keon Coleman is going to play at a much more mature level than people expect, and he's bringing such a maturity to his working out and his game and his I'm really getting excited about Keon Coleman. He's becoming one of my favorite wide receivers to draft in best ball right now. But as far as Curtis Samuel, I won't lie. I'm torn. I'm drafting Shakir about 8 times out of 10, maybe 9 times out of 10 when on the clock, and I see Shakir and Curtis Samuel, and you kind of can't grab both of them very easily if you're trying to stack Josh Allen with them. It's really hard. You have to have just the perfect draft slot that's back-to-back to take both of them or something. So when push comes to shove, I kind of have been drafting Shakir over and over, but there's some injury worries about that. I don't know if Shakir can keep it together all year long, and if he doesn't, Curtis Samuel thrives. I think Curtis Samuel is probably gonna rely upon that. If there's an injury, then the volume should be there for him to do very, very well. If, let's say, Shakir stays healthy, Keon Coleman's, he's thriving, and Kincaid's gobbling up everything he can, then I think, like you said, there'll be some inconsistent goodness from Curtis Samuel. Very versatile player, can take handoffs, kind of a mini Deebo Samuel. He's gonna have a good role. I think there's no safeguard unless you own all 3 of them. You really don't know. There's no way to for sure know who the top receiver is going to be. I think it'll be Coleman, but like Curtis Samuel could be that guy. There's no way to rule that out. But my pecking order would be Coleman, Kincaid, Coleman, Shakir, then Samuel, but it is what it is. And some would say Claypool, but then I'd say, who the hell is Claypool? Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy.
I think someone's misinterpreting what I'm saying about Curtis Samuel. I'm not even saying he's bad, but the person that was talking about it is trying to say that Curtis Samuel will be getting more touches than Coleman and Shakir. So I just don't buy that Curtis Samuel is going to be their number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I rank him as the 3rd wide receiver of the Coleman, Shakir, Curtis Samuel grouping, but there's no way for me to know. He could be a nice surprise, but I'm still ranking him 3rd. Yeah. Shakir's got more appeal. Coleman's got more appeal than both of them, but Curtis Samuel certainly, with injury or anything, could slip right in and be super ultra productive, especially given that he can run the ball. But I don't draft him ahead of Shakir, so obviously I don't like him more than Shakir. I'm curious about him near as much, and I'm worried that I'm getting it wrong, but
that's what I was going to say too, is that he's 28 years old, but he's in the best position he's been in so far, ever, probably, between Carolina and Washington and now, obviously. And Washington didn't use him to run him at all. He got 7 rushing attempts last year, which is just foolish. The year before, he had 38. That's what he should be doing. They should be putting the ball in his hands with stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's no answer. There's no answer. Shakir is exciting. Probably is the better option, but there's no way to tell yet. We might get a good read on this in a couple weeks or a month. We might have an answer to this quicker than we think. We may never. We may not. I don't know. Find out.
Yeah. Like I said, I was more so pushing back to the he's going to get the most touches in the offense, for wide receivers. I don't see it with Coleman there.
Never know. All right, Travis, appreciate you, bro. Thanks for being there for both shows tonight. Mod Squad to the moon.
Yes, sir.
All right, later.
Thanks, Smitty. Talk to you later.
Ill Phil, you got one more thing?
Yeah. One last thing. You were talking about, being an outcast in the fantasy community, and I wanted to just tell you, I think it's because you have the guts to tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear all the time. And a lot of people don't like that in a person, but I want to just say I appreciate that in you, and I like you for it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think the viewers traditionally like it. I think the fantasy industry does not. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I've been in this industry as long as anybody but maybe Matthew Berry. And people stay away from me. It's weird. No one goes out of their way to try and collaborate with me, and that's fine because I'm not kind of a loner anyway. Part of that has to do with me. You know, I don't go seeking it out either, and some people do. A lot of people are social butterflies. I'm not. I'm very introverted. But at the same time, it's like I do know for a fact that a lot of it has to do with, I think if someone were to invite me on their show, as an example, they're probably afraid I'm going to yell at them. They're probably afraid I'm going to, go nuts or something. And I'm a nice guy, especially if I go on another show or I talk to other people. I like to bring a lot of humor to the table and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's fine. I'm totally okay with it. It's been this way for 20 plus years, 23 plus years. It's not any different. And I've kind of, maybe I've grown a little bit of a you could say a shell of even, caring about it, but doesn't bother me at all. I almost prefer it at this point. I'm not a mingling type. I'm just not. I'm getting too old for that shit. I don't drink. I don't socialize. I don't, I just sit in here in my cave and go live and get food and work out. I'm a simple man.
You're better off, man.
Netflix. I love Netflix. That's my life. A vacation for me, staying home and just Netflixing and getting some grub and some good grub and breaking news, another live stream. I've made this life for myself and I enjoy it. I don't need to, but you notice that there's a lot of people that they'll invite each other on their shows and some of the bigger collab contents. I do rank for Fantasy Pros and things like that, but like. Those guys, they never invite me on their show or anything. They never, they never reach out, but that's all right. I'm fine with it. I kind of like it. I kind of am fine with it. I'm a lone wolf, as they say. And a lot, some people have said, "Hey, Smitty, you should have co-hosts." And I was like, I don't want a co-host. Like, this is what the show is. You want something else? Go watch a cookie cutter, Caleb show over on the corner over there. Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. I don't know. You think I'm going to get along with a co-host? You got to be out of your mind. Not to mention, you think a co-host is going to roll out of bed and go live the minute breaking news happens? You think a co-host's wife or significant other is going to be okay going three times live every day? You got to be out of your mind. This show is supposed to be an hour. We've been here for 2 hours. You think a co-host's wife is going to appreciate that? There's no co-host here. You're gonna be out of your mind.
Certainly not. And I think in as far as industry guys too, they might be a little scared of getting embarrassed or something. Pointing out a bad take or something.
Well,
or
I'm not saying I'm
or
perfect.
Foolish take.
I'm not trying to rip on anybody's take, but like I appreciate you. I appreciate where you're going with this, but like I'm not a perfect person at all. But I guess I just I've been it is weird. Like, let me give you an example. The Fantasy Football Awards, okay? Do you think that this show, especially when it came out, or do you think that anybody will consider this show to win any sort of fantasy football award? Absolutely not. Has anybody come knocking down my door saying, hey, you invented the first instant-based trade calculator in the fantasy football industry in 2002? We think you deserve some innovation, some pioneering awards or something. No, never once. Nobody. They don't even consider my name. They don't talk about me. They don't say anything about the pioneering and innovating I've done in this industry. And I've done a lot. Had the first instant-based trade calculator, to my knowledge, the first instant-based draft simulator. Nobody had draft simulators. Yeah, all those things. The bold prediction content, nobody had that stuff in 2002, 2003. There was no YouTube. I was one of the first, I didn't continue it after, but one of the first YouTubing fantasy football people that was ever in existence, because YouTube, before it was bought by Google, asked me out of 5 different people to do a daily Sunday show. YouTube came to me and said, we'll give you a branded page, which was gold back then. It was where you had your banner and you could put up any image you want, and it was only for people that had like 100,000 subscribers, and I had like 9. And they came to me and they said, we'll give you a branded banner And when you click on the banner, it goes to any site you want. You could set it so you can put your website or whatever. And YouTube was not bought by Google. They were very small. And they said, we'll cycle you. We'll put you on the homepage on Sunday. I was on Google's homepage. I'm sorry, YouTube's homepage. Every single Sunday, I was on YouTube's. Did I say Google? I was saying, meaning YouTube. I was on YouTube's homepage every single Sunday. In the corner, start bench advice. The first, like this is like 2006 or 7 or whatever it was. And after that year of doing it, because it was so hard to do video back then, there was no live streaming or anything like that. You literally had like a camcorder and you're like uploading the footage, you're editing the footage. It took like 10 hours to like do a video. And so after 1 year
Back
of
in
that,
the flip phone days.
yeah, after 1 year of that and getting really no huge traction, I get more views in one live stream than I would get from being on YouTube's homepage back before they were bought by Google. And so, like, do I get any consideration for any pioneering at all? No, they wouldn't even come in my direction. And so that's how you know that you're outcasted, is when you've helped innovate this industry for 23 plus years and no one ever mentions your name in anything. They don't consider you for nothing, bro. When I started this YouTube channel, best series, best phone call segment or something like that. No show takes calls like this. You're telling me I'm not going to win the best like interactive show on YouTube for fantasy football content? You got to be out of your mind. Nobody consider, and it's fine. It's fine. I'm a lone wolf. I could care less. At this point, like I said, grew a hard shell. Don't even care anymore. Don't even care anymore. But it is wild that your boy's never even been mentioned, nominated for nothing in this industry. Nothing. You got these teeny boppers that weren't even sharding in their diapers when I started this stuff. You know, it was me. It was Matthew.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's me, Matthew Berry. There's literally like 5 to 7 websites out there. It was my site. It was, and I had a different name back then. But I changed it over the years. And then the Fantasy Football Show became my brand, and I rebranded over to my content to that actual domain name. But, it was me, Matthew Berry. It was, and back then it was actually, what's his face? So it was me, Matthew Berry. There's several others. I don't want to mention anybody, give them too many props, because they don't mention me for shit. And then there was what's the guy on Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio. He had he had his thing then too. It was Mike Florio, Matthew Berry, myself, and 4 or 5 other big websites. One was like fantasyfootball.com back then, which I think is just like a placeholder now. But there was just literally like 7 of us. There was no content creators. There was no video, first of all. But there was no content creators really out there. It was us 7. And so they know everyone knows who I am, but it's like, no, I don't get shit for recognition on anything. And that's fine. It's no big deal. I don't need it. We'll be bigger than all of them. So once we circle around and go the long way, maybe we'll have some knocks on the door. And maybe I'll slam the door shut. I don't know.
If I had to make a top 3 fantasy football Hall of Fame list, you'd be in there.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate you. All right, Phil, I got to go. Appreciate you, man.
Later, broski.
Later.
Talk later.
All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you. Stafford, like 48 years old. He's not that old. Super chats here. Where do you rank Murray, Burrow, Prescott? Probably rank Prescott and Murray very close, with Burrow slightly below him. Safety, I would probably say Dak. But if you want to go a little higher risk, higher reward, then I would probably roll with Kyler if you want a little higher upside, high risk.
If we be taking it over like we rowing the boat, I'm be going like a man, we let it float. I'm going like, Smitty the GOAT. That's just how we roll, and that's how we going at the big old time. Smitty on the rise.
Thank you, Rock Out, serenading me like I don't deserve. Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, Justin. Can you add Stroud to the ranking I sent? I would go Stroud, and then Dak and Murray tied. Like I said, high risk, high reward. Go Murray. If you want safer, go Prescott. But Stroud above all of them. Stroud tier break, probably mini tier break, and then Kyler Murray, Prescott, Burrow. Burrow's not in a different tier. I just put him there because he doesn't run. He's been injured. Chase has been injured. They've started slow several years. There's a lot of concern to say, oh, okay, I'm going to throw Burrow ahead of those guys, but that's just the way it is. $5 holler from Justin. The biggest reason I stayed on fantasy football is Smitty. It reminded me of best leaders I knew in the Navy. Raw truth bombs. He's already taught me a lot in 2 months. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for dropping that, Justin, to the moon. Gifted memberships. Did we have any gifted memberships tonight? I don't think we did, but thank you, anybody who dropped a super chat tonight. Celebratory messages. Golf celebrates 12 months. Says, hope you're feeling better. Yard looks nice. Thank you, Golf. Appreciate you. I think Golf already left for the night, but Golf, I appreciate you dropping that. Super chats, Justin, Navage, Justin, Rock Out, Harvest, Rock Out, Jimmy the Drunk, Justin, appreciate all the super chats, my boy Justin. Justin comes in, he's like a faucet. He just kind of trickles some super chats in there. You don't even realize he's dropping as many as he is, and at the end of the night, it's like you say his name like 15, 20 times. Justin, appreciate you. You're the man, the myth, the legend. I'll see you all later. Appreciate everything, all the support. You guys rock. I do it for you. We are going to run this damn city. And when I say city, I mean the fantasy football communities everywhere. We're going to run it all. We're going to grow bigger than all these channels. And we don't need anybody. Okay? Appreciate you all. See you later. We built this Smitty on graveyard shores.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Lift off of mission 3, 2, 1, 0.
Bijan card has been revoked.
See you all later. Live when big news breaks. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. And also live most graveyard nights to not just draft, but to draft and also have conversation, phone lines, you name it. Deuces.
Get breached.